Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS. It is Wednesday, so we're talking golf. Not a great week last week. Morikawa did sneak his way into the top 20 at the end. That was the only one, though, of the five that hit. So we're looking to get back on track here at the Mexico Open. And I actually bet I can predict who one of your bets is going to be.
Yeah,
you're taking
one of our,
Chris Gotterup.
He's definitely one of our picks.
I
this
knew
week.
I knew it.
So we'll start there. Gotterup is in the field. I love a hometown hero. But not only do I like Chris because it's a pretty weak field. Nobody is really. There's not a lot of big names playing in this tournament, especially coming off the last couple of events were signature events, and all the other, the big name guys are getting ready for the Florida swing that starts next week. So it's a pretty light field. And then when we go and look at our data golf tool that we use, and we talk about course fit, the biggest thing on this golf course is driving distance, and Chris Gotterup is top 10 on the PGA Tour in driving distance. So Chris is number 2 in terms of shots gained based on what this golf course calls for. So why not utilize that to his advantage? Take advantage of a weaker field. Chris actually won a PGA Tour event last year in one of these events similar where it was a lighter field. So I like Chris here, and I think you get a good price on him.
So you can get Chris Gotterup top 40 finish at plus 115.
Yeah,
I might dabble in some of that.
Yeah, so like I said, it's an interesting week in terms of odds because there's not a lot of big name guys. So a couple of the other guys that we're going to talk about, like when we jump into our next pick, who's probably the favorite to win it, you could get him still in the top 10 for 1-1 on your money. So with that being said, let's show me some Akshay Bhatia.
Bhatia almost came through for us. Played like 90 solid holes and then dropped out at the end on us.
Yeah.
Bhatia is minus 120 to finish in the top 20. Bhatia.
Yeah. So like I said, lighter field. Bhatia is actually the second lowest ranked player in this field. So I think Bhatia is ranked like 29th overall on the PGA Tour, which is the second lowest. I think
lowest or best, right?
Yeah, the best guy. The 28th ranked guy is Aaron Rai, who's going to be another one of our picks. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but Akshay hits it a long way. Like I said, he's the best player in the field. He's already played in a lot of events this year. He's trending in the right direction. And like I said, it's 1-1 on your money for a top 20. It's not the best price in the world, but in terms of favorites, it's not like you're paying a minus 240 for a guy who should be there.
Right. And I'm glad you said Aaron Rai, because this guy did us well last year. I think he cashed all 3 times we bet him last year.
Yeah, so we jumped on the Aaron Rai bandwagon. He had a great stretch of golf that he played. Talking about what this field is, and Aaron Rai has played some good golf already this season. We're going to look for him to make us some more money this week in a lighter field. I like Aaron Rai here. He's in a good spot. Believe it or not, even though he's the lowest player in the field in terms of best golfer that's actually on the field, I think you still get a pretty good price on him here to finish in the top 20.
Yeah, plus top 20 is plus 160.
Yeah, so I like Aaron Rai in this spot. Like you said, we've had some success betting him last year. We struck while the iron was hot. So I look to take advantage of picking Aaron Rai. I think the first tournament we took Aaron Rai was a similar situation. It was an event in Canada in which a lot of the big name guys didn't play, and Aaron Rai actually rose to the top, and he won that event. So I like Aaron Rai here.
Probably the reason we're getting Aaron Rai at that price is his performance in the last few tournaments. I mean, the T40, T37, but those were elevated fields in comparison to this one, you said, right?
Right. So, like I said, he is the lowest ranked golfer, meaning the best ranked golfer in the field this week. So, expect some big things out of Aaron Rai. And listen, top 30s, top 40s is good against, the better fields. At least he's making cuts. It's not like he's playing piss poor golf. So, yeah. I like Aaron Rai in this spot here.
I'm gonna take Rai because I like I said, I think I cashed all 3 times I bet Aaron Rai last year.
Yeah. So let's jump down to the defending champion, a guy who we bet a little bit this year already, and we talked about, again, a guy who hits the ball a long way. We're going to go with Jake Knapp.
Jake Knapp came through for us. In this one, you can get Jake Knapp top 20 finish plus 175 on Bet365.
Yeah, so like I said, this was his first career PGA Tour win, was this event last year. He's been playing some pretty good golf of late. He still hasn't figured it out with the putter completely. So if he can figure it out with the putter against a weaker field, he hits the ball a long way. I think it's a great price for Jake Knapp here. I think he's going to come out. He's going to want to defend his title. So I think you'll see his name up there pretty consistently this week.
Jake Knapp. I may play Knapp. I definitely playing Rye, and I'm definitely playing Gotterup too. I like that.
And our last pick this week is a guy who we haven't talked about on this segment before, but let's put it this way. In this event's been going on. This will be the fourth year. He's played in it all 3 previous years. He's finished in the top 20 all 3 years. Show me Stephan Jaeger.
Stephan Jaeger.
Jaeger.
Stephan, there it is. Okay, so Stephan Jaeger, top 20 finish plus 125 on Bet365.
Yeah, so another guy who I don't really follow a ton of Stephan Jaeger golf, but he's kind of in the name like Patrick Rogers, guys that you see occasionally pop up on the leaderboard and you're like, who is that guy? Stephan Jaeger has some success on this golf course. Like I said, three times in this event, 3 top 20s. So yeah, this pick is kind of just going with the odds, and you're getting him at plus money. He's never finished outside the top 20 in this event. I think he's got some potential to throw a little fireworks. I haven't seen his name much this year, so I'm not sure what kind of golf he's playing.
I mean, I'm looking at his results. He's played in 5 tournaments this year: T36, T3, 1 missed cut in the Farmers Insurance Open, and then T40, T44. So he's made 4 out of 5 cuts.
So 4 out of 5 cuts is definitely a solid start. Like you said, we're talking about a weaker field, so it's not like he's going up against the Scotty Schefflers of the world or the Rory McIlroys. I really think that he takes advantage of his opportunities, and a guy that's done it on a consistent basis. Playing in this event 3 years in a row, it's always usually a little lighter event because of the way it's scheduled between the California swing and the Florida swing. So he takes advantage of his opportunities, and to get him at plus money with the results that he's never finished outside the top 20, I think is a pretty good price.
Yeah, I like it. So Stephan Jaeger is our last pick. Let's get back on track here. I'm definitely going to take Rye, definitely going to take Gotterup. Maybe I might throw what was the other one I liked? Knapp in there as well.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
I think listen, like I said, it's a weird week. With it being a smaller event in terms of scale. So you're getting some good prices on guys that you wouldn't necessarily get. I think because the books are, just the same. They don't really know who's going to come out. Some guys come out and they come out scorching hot. I mean, you look at Maverick McNeely as he finished last week. I don't know if you watched Sunday, but he was 9 under through 13 holes. I mean, the guy was absolutely on fire. So you never know what you're going to get, and I think that's why we get some good prices this week. So let's look to get back on our winning ways.
Yeah, let's get back in the green here. I'll see you next Wednesday. Let's have ourselves a good one.
All right, let's do it.
Later.